I go from having a stressful commute, feeling very happy and relaxed when I get off the train. All of it, any of it. So just connect to the chi field. Just do this. Just this. See the clear blue sky, the center of your mind. Relax. Five minutes when you wake up, 10 minutes before you go to bed, and the chi field will tell you what to do.
Are there any questions at all for Ethan?
Good. I did a really good job. No questions.
What time did you start?
7.
Oh, you started on time.
Yes.
So how come everyone used to come here and I didn't know to come?
Yeah, next time the center will be up and running. Right now it's
Yeah, well,
all
when
set.
I called, they told me the other
Yeah.
place, how come everyone used to come here then?
Yeah. But from
It's
next
because of
month,
email, you don't have an email call.
No, I called this afternoon. I just called them at 4 o'clock this
That
afternoon.
was miscommunication, the ladies were not sure, so.
No, she told me that's I called 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
She was misinformed, she didn't know. I was confused.
Or you would know about the email. When someone else got email for you.
Okay, let's hope for the better.
I'm glad that I had someone's hand to hold on to when I walked over here. I thought that was medical. I couldn't make it on. Okay. Continue. I have it.
Okay. There, 3 minutes exactly.
yes. And teacher Ooi is very punctual on time, so.
Was it easy to get an appointment with the practitioners, the interns, whatever the shift roles? I called like that Monday after I could see you guys on Thursday, whatever. It was like a 2-week wait just to get an appointment.
Yeah, it fills up fast.
Yeah,
The price is right.
that's for sure.
Would you like to make an announcement, Ethan, about the 3 meetings? Yeah.
So, Bob is talking about, we have a free Qigong healing center, Mondays at 56th Street. There will be an email, send out an email to tell you the details about how to make appointments, but the appointments fill up quickly. So these are folks who have graduated the medical Qigong healing program that I graduated. If any of you know who Dr. Linda Chu is, she's running the program. These are all interns. This is clinical Qigong. These are external Qigong healings. They are free, but there is a limited amount of space. So every Monday until December. And there's one.
Teacher Ooi, welcome.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, and the picture is very good. Can you see us all in New York?
Yes.
Excellent. Yeah. So this is our wonderful, most beautiful group. Excellent. We are honored that you joined us, and we have many friends from around the world that have also joined us. Check the volume.
I sent you an email saying that I can upload, I can have a PowerPoint because you emailed me about an hour ago, so I prepared a PowerPoint. Perhaps that would be easier.
PowerPoint, okay. If you have that on your computer, you can also do a screen share.
Okay, I'm trying to see. I'm going to screen share.
Yes, at the bottom is a green icon. Yes. Oh, excellent.
No problem?
Yes. Oh, wonderful. You're a pro at this.
Can you send us this via email?
Yes, yes, we can ask him. So, welcome, Teacher Ooi, and whenever you like, please get started.
Okay, no problem. Let me know when you want to start.
Yes, I think all of us are here, so you can get started. And I think the topic of your talk is how Qigong works. And I already gave them an extensive introduction. For the new people who joined us late, I can do it again. So Teacher Ooi is my teacher in Penang, Malaysia. And I've taken his M1, M2, probably not the best student, but learned a lot. So we are greatly honored that he is here joining us. And I think I shared with all of you his website and the email address if you're interested in any healing sessions or Skype sessions. So please welcome Ooi. Please start.
Hello.
Hi.
Now, Amir mentioned something like I should introduce a little bit how I got started in Qigong.
Yes.
It happened, I started practicing in the year of 1997, okay? And, well, those days, I think I was worse than Amir then. I practiced 5 minutes a day or 10 minutes a day because of a bad injury, because I was playing squash. So I had bad knee injury. So we practiced 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, you know. And then came 1999, I had a renal polyp. I'm also a pharmacist, so the pain hit me very badly. And well, as a pharmacist, you start to pop in pills. It should be a stomach problem. Okay, take something for the stomach. It didn't work. Okay, it can be some, this intestinal problem, cramps. Okay, take something out. It didn't work. And middle of the night, started to throw up. My wife sent me to the hospital, and then, well, they found, oh gosh, you have plenty of diamonds in your left kidney. So the doctor operated on me, and it was Stackhorn, means the kidney stone. It's not 1 or 2 pieces, but they have been there for so long, they fill up the whole calyx, the space of the kidney. So there's no way for the kidney to function correctly because the outward flow is being stuck. And the whole kidney distended. And, well, the kidney function went down to 10%. And after the operation, the doctor told me, well, we leave it there for 6 months. If we can recover up to 30%, then we keep it there. Otherwise, then we will look into the option of removing this tissue. Well, I started to practice when I was in the hospital. I mean, seriously. All right, I started to read up the book. Started to do standing meditation. You have 1 tube here, 1 tube there, 1 going out, you know, from your urethra, and then 1 going into your kidney at the back. So 4 tubes together, any single moment. The only way you can do is something that you have to stand up. 6 months later, I went back. The doctor said that something was wrong. You did the test wrongly because it's not possible for your kidney to recover up to 95%. And he said, you have to go back to the nuclear center. It is what we call a nuclear center that can do this test. I said, you're crazy. Number 1, that place is very cold. Number 2, it is very expensive. I'm not going to spend money again. He said, hey, why worry? 1 kidney will last you for 100 years. why worry? You go back 100 tests. If this one is bad, they give you the wrong data, they give you the wrong X-ray film or whatever. Nothing to worry. I said, one kidney will last me for 100 years. Two will last me for 200 years. I'm a greedy person. I want 200. And I'm quite sure that this is done now. This is okay now. Well, we became friends, actually a quite good friend ever after that. Now, throughout the teachings, the practice and all that, many people came by and asked, what do you do? How can you recover like this? Or what did you tell the patients? You know, I have famous patient in the Netherlands who recovered completely from a terminal cancer more than 10 years ago. I have friends who had rheumatoid arthritis to the extent that the doctor said, hey, sorry, we have to change we have to operate on you to remove the damaged knee. And 3 months later, she was walking on her own without any replacement surgery. So people always come back to us and say that, what did you tell the guy? What did you tell Rainer Bosch? Doctor told him that the maximum you can live is only 2 weeks. How can he survive? Why did you tell that lady? She was on crutches, not on walking stick, crutches. And 3 months later, how could that she's walking there? Well, that's Qigong. Yeah, and that's what we are going to talk about today, right? Now, I've been in this work for more than 10 years. Started teaching in the year of 1999 and started to see patients now since 2002. So that's quite some time now, right? 15 years. Amil, is Amil there? Can you hear me?
Hold on.
Hello?
Yes, the sound and audio is excellent. We can hear you and...
Okay, now, do you want me to go into that, what you call the sharing part?
Yes, please. That would be great. And we can still see you and we can hear the audio. So
okay.
Great, thank you.
Now, a few months ago, we decided to change our, what you call, the way we approach healing, the way that we heal patients, treat patients, with this name Serenity Holistic Therapy. Why? Well, it's very simple because branding is one, but mainly because it gets very confusing. People start to say that, hey, are you sure that what you are doing is Qigong? You have to explain to them what is Qigong. And it gets very tiring. So might as well we put one name there. Oh, holistic therapy. Oh, that means you do everything. Ah, okay, good. To make life easier. Okay, now, where do I click? Now, what is Qi? This is the request from Amil.
Yes.
I explain this. What is Qi? If you look at whatever that in front of you, or whatever that is on your body and all that, Amil, I think you have to switch on the mic first because the acoustic is quite bad.
We can hear you okay, I think. Let me mute
Okay.
our end.
Okay, then I can continue, no problem. Okay. Now, everything, I think from high school student will be able to tell you that you break down everything that you feel, everything that you touch, and then they are going to get into proton, neutron, and electron. And then you go into pre-university, they'll probably tell you things like quarks and top quarks in the proton and neutron. And you go further in the university, perhaps to study physics, Then they start to tell you something about quantum physics, quantum mechanics, and then they start to tell you about duality between the particle and wave. All right, and then a few years ago, they discovered what they call the finest building blocks of the universe. They name it the God's particle, right? Higgs boson. Now, what are we trying to say here is everything comes from the same thing. This is what, this is the most fundamental knowledge in Qigong, okay? Everything comes from the same thing. If you have ever gone through Tao Te Classic, or what we call Tao Te Ching, then you understand that it mentioned it that way. But of course, you see, the Chinese, we Chinese are very irresponsible people. We just tell you, this is what I perceive. Sorry, no evidence. All right? Luckily, now that you have the evidence, all right, people are coming up with supporting evidence to say that, yes, everything comes from the same thing. Okay? So basically, whether it's modern science or the studies done in China or in ancient Qigong study, we are more or less coming to a understanding that there are three states of matter. All right, information is one, energy is another one, the what we call the matter, the solid matter is another one. Okay, in the eyes of modern physics, all three of them, they are actually a form of matter. Information can be converted into energy. Energy can be converted into matter and vice versa. Or E equal to mc squared, everybody knows about it. And information can be converted into energy. It's something that everyone is competing to try to validate. A notable study was done in 2012 by the Seoul University, okay, whereby they prove that information can be converted into energy. I'm not going to go into that, it would take too long. Now, so what is Qi? The most fundamental building blocks of everything. What is Qigong? Qigong, well, inward focusing. Qigong practice is all about inward focusing. Inward focusing on the where? Inward focusing on the two aspects. One, our physical activity, all right? Two, our mental activity. So you can say that whatever that requires you to focus onto your life activities, be it mental activities or physical activities, that is Qigong. Okay. Now, what are the characteristics? What are the what we call the defining characteristics of Qigong? We say there are four aspects in Qigong. Number one, regulatory of the physical body. Okay, so how you stand, how you walk, how you sit, how you sleep. So regulatory of the physical body. Regulatory of the breath, how you breathe. Are you breathing it correctly? Your ability to stay focused, all right? That is how you use your mind. So regulatory of the breath, regulatory of the physical body, regulatory of the mind in terms of the ability to stay focused. And the last one is our ability to communicate with the society, or what we call cultivation of virtue. Human beings come from society. Without society, you're not here, I'm not here. All right, if you're brought up by wolves or by dogs or whatever, you might still have the physical feature of a human being, but you're not able to communicate, or you're not able to socialize like a normal person, okay? So what are the four major characteristics? These are the four. Qigong practice always involve these four, all right? It can be heavily on one or two, or it can be only on one. Like in Buddhism, it's everything about focusing onto the mind, all right? In Zen Buddhism, it can be something like the master give you a a clone or give you something else to think about. Where were you before the birth of the Father? Go back, think about it. The moment you get the answer, you reach enlightenment. Okay. Now, so if you're talking up from that perspective, Zen Buddhism is also a form of Qigong. Okay. What is the difference between Qigong and common exercises? Common exercises, we do not focus onto our life activities. We focus onto the tennis ball when we play tennis. See? We focus onto the goalpost when we play soccer. It's not the same, right? This is the biggest difference between what you call difference between Qigong and common exercises. Now, when you focus onto something else, your qi will follow suit. When you focus onto the tennis ball, you're giving qi to the tennis ball, right? So it is not quite the same. And Qigong, you focus onto your life activities. When you stretch out your arms, you are going to focus onto how you are going to perceive how the changes inside comes about. All right, you have to focus onto your life activities. Now, one question is, what's the difference between Qigong and yoga? Honestly speaking, yoga is also a form of Qigong from our perspective, right? But the yoga that we are doing nowadays, that we see nowadays, is not so much like the common yoga, the genuine one started by Patanjali, right? The real yoga, if you go onto Wikipedia, you take a look inside it, you will understand that it is not the same as what we do now. Over here, the yoga, I'm not too sure in America, but over here, yoga that people do here is all about exercises and nothing about the way to use your mind. Okay? Now, what do we do? So we put it as Qigong services. What do we do? Number one, we provide self-healing stuff. Self-healing is what? Well, you work on your own, right? Like teaching Qigong exercises, running classes, that is actually a form of self-healing. We teach you how to heal yourself, right? You learn La Qi, you learn lift Qi up, you learn this, you learn that. This is what we call self-healing. The other one is external Qi healing. Now, the world is changing very, very rapidly. If you were talking about 20 years ago, self-healing was in the mainstream, be it in China or any part of the world. But now, it is no longer business to customers, it is customers to business. The customers will determine what kind of business that you are supposed to develop. And external Qi healing is getting more and more popular. Why? Self-healing is you got to do many things. External Qi healing, you don't even have to lift your finger. We'll do everything. Yeah? So in terms of external Qi healing, there are many approaches that we do, right? We have Chinese massage, we have scrapping, we have cupping, we have food therapy. What we do here when we talk about all this, be it external Qi therapy, the Chinese massage and all that, we are actually changing the Qi field of the patient or of the client or the pathological areas, right? The second one is information therapy, right? We call it eye therapy, nothing to do with Apple, okay? We use the term eye therapy because we started our office at this place called Eye Avenue. So we use the term eye therapy, right? Now, information therapy is something like we get into highly focused state and we give out specific customized information. And this information will be recorded and played back to our clients 24 hourly. This has been very, very successful, particularly for children, right? And because we intend to focus on the children for the year 2016. We started in March this year. So far, we have close to 50 cases. All of them, they have shown surprisingly extremely good results, including children with, including a child with meningitis. Now, what is our Serenity Holistic Therapy? Okay, diagnosis is mainly done through ESP or EC. Many people say that, hey, this is something so difficult, and not true. Right? Many times I see patients and they ask, how do you know? How can you tell that I'm having this problem, that problem? You see, that's the way that we do it. Sometimes I ask them, do you read Japanese? You don't, because you did not learn. You learn Japanese, you speak Japanese. I learned this, so I know how to do this. Simple as that, right? Some ask me, hey, have you been doing this stuff? Have you been training for 10, 20 years? Now, be very, very serious. I always tell them this. If there is a practice or there is a modality that requires somebody else to practice 10 or 8 years so as to be able to do something else, something is very wrong with this. Something is definitely very wrong with this modality. How many people have many, many 10 years? How many? Not many people. No. I started doing this in 2002. I have students that 2 years, and they're able to do that. I'm taking in graduates now in the universities, undergrads, and I expect them to be able to perform what we want them to perform within 3 years. All right? If Zhineng Qigong is something that you're going to practice for 5 years, 8 years, 10 years, so as to be able to do some healing, forget about it. Then it is a useless form of Qigong. I say this, serious. All right? If you're not able to do it, then you're going to look back. What is wrong? Something wrong with the practice or something wrong with the person that is practicing it. Dr. Pang, the founder, said this. If you do lift it up minimally well, you would have reached this staple, this level. 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 4, extrasensory perception. This is not from me. This is from Dr. Pang. This is from the founder. Okay? So diagnosis is done through ESP. Healing provided through various traditional Chinese practices. Okay? That's our therapy. Now, if you want to know about therapy, you have to understand what is in the human. There are 2 aspects in a human being. We call it a physiological aspect, very similar to animal. We need to eat, we need to breathe, we need to drink to stay alive. Right? This is our physiological aspect. But we have something else that is not the same as the animals. We have the societal aspect. We have the do's and don'ts. When you were first born, you can pee, you can poo anytime you like. Nobody's going to say anything about it. You are hungry, you yell, right? You are fat, well fed, full stomach, you smile, you're happy. Your emotion is directly related to your physiological needs. If all your physiological needs are well met, you're a happy man. As you grow older, things start to change. All right? The people, the society will start to put in demand. There will be do's and don'ts. By the time when you are 4 and you are still urinating anytime, anywhere you like, what would happen to you? All right? And if you're an adult, can you simply urinate or eat anywhere you like? No, you can't. You can't. See, that is what we call the societal aspect, the societal knowledge. Now, what has it got to do with pathological condition? For a person to get ill, normally it can be a physical problem, right? Or an emotional problem. For the young, it is normally a physical problem or problem rooted in the physical structure. Physical structure can be something is not right with the liver, something is not right with the heart, something is not right with the what we call whatever organs, right? Or something's not right with the neck, with the spine. But it's not quite the same for the adults. Emotional condition normally plays a major role in severe illnesses, right? And among the adults. Now, so emotional condition is very important. You guys here are all adults. So you have got to make sure that you're happy. Sonja Lyubomirsky said this, 50% of your happiness level is genetically determined. 10% affected by life circumstances, 40% subject to self-control. 50%, that's a lot, right? Guanzi said something similar. Guanzi, that's 1,400 years ago, is that wrong physical form will bring a no right function. What he's trying to say is that the function here refers to the function in the society. Okay, now we'll come back to this. Now, what do we do? What are the cases that we can handle from fetus to those in their 80s? 80s is wrong, actually. We have one patient who is 102, right? 3 days ago. 191, 102. From headache to lumbar problem to foot pain to scoliosis. From, there are many. Let's take a look at the younger ones. This is one baby that we use eye therapy. Right? The complaints from the parents tend set since birth, vomit after every meal. 1 week later, everything well. 3 months later, because I just saw the parents 2 weeks ago, very happy. Skin condition back to normal. The skin was very bad. Digestion, everything back to normal. Needless to say, the parents have tried practically everything, right? Medical doctors, Chinese physicians, prayer, everything. And then finally he brought, the parents brought the child to see me. Now this is a typical case of what we call the physical aspect would determine the emotional expression of a child. Right? This boy was very vigorous. He actually hit the elder sister until the elder sister fainted in school a few hours later. And they brought the elder sister, and then I took a look at the sister and I said, you have an injury on the chest. Did you fall down? Did you fall down? No, she said no. Then later on we found out that he was hit by this young boy. Okay. Well, we did something onto him, and a few weeks later, he was back to almost normal. This is another case, sweating all the time, and we discovered that there was a compression on the chest, and that is affecting the heart. That was affecting the heart quite badly. Well, again, this one 2 weeks and things done. Scoliosis. Scoliosis is easy for those below the age of 14. I just saw this boy yesterday. The mother brought him to see me. He has recovered completely. Okay. Before that, when he came to see me, the doctor said that you have to do 1 X-ray every 6 months, and if it's just got too bad, and then, well, go for surgery. And the doctors, they are very surprised now what happened. Below the age of 14, very easy. Above the age of 14, difficult. Above the age of 21, extremely difficult. I've yet to feel anyone above the age of 21. autistic girl, this one is completely on information therapy, right? She used to throw her tantrum in an exam if teacher refused to provide answers. She disliked boys, but everything changed weeks into the information therapy. And we have one Asperger boy. The condition was quite bad that the teacher actually begged the parents to take the child to special school, means school for those who are not able to catch up. 2 weeks of therapy, what happened? Now, this is what's from the mother. My son used paper cup to drink water, then suddenly got an idea. Went home and made this for me. Now the boy is the darling of the school. It's different now. Okay, what about adults? There are plenty of special cases, all right? Parkinson to chronic renal failure, from everything, all right? It's not possible to go through all the cases. Well, what do you think? What is the most dreaded disease? Whenever we ask, everybody says cancer. Now, common question from cancer patients is that, why me? Do you realize that in Chinese medicine, and also Dr. Pang once said this, that cancer is actually a liver qi problem, right? Now, it is actually because of severe frustration. Severe frustration always leads to stagnation of qi to form tumor. That is traditional Chinese medicine. And a very famous doctor in America, Carl Simonton, right? He said this: all cancer patients have had a prolonged, severe, hopeless period of depression, 6 to 18 months before the onset of the disease. Let's take a look at this very interesting case. This is the real story, all right? And it was published in a what we call newspaper in England. Terminal cancer mom blows 30,000 pounds and puts on the 56 pounds in final months, then beats the disease. Okay, she was diagnosed with small cell lung cancer. No, she cervical cancer, right? Spread in the lymph nodes, and the doctor said that she had only 12 to 18 months to live if she goes on chemotherapy. There's no way that they can cure her. They can only prolong her life for another 12 to 18 months. She went home, cried, and then the husband said, okay, why don't we enjoy this last the final months, right? So they took out all the savings. They sold off their house. They travel around the country. And she enjoys food, particularly those in the clubs, food in those, I don't know, they call it the, something like nightclubs and all the food there, probably high calorie. Okay. And she put on 56 pounds after 12 months. And then all of a sudden she came to realize that, hey, I'm supposed to go back for a checkup because I'm supposed to be dead by now. Went back, checked. The doctor couldn't find anything. So, sorry, it could be a wrong diagnosis. Then she said, how could that be a wrong diagnosis? Blood test, x-ray, everything wrong? Sorry, you're well now. Oh, you're not happy with it? She said that what am I supposed to do? I sold off my house. I got nowhere to live now, and I'm as big as my house now. This is a real story. But what is the moral of the story? Stay happy. That's the most important thing. All right. Why do we say that? There's this David Wesley, he discovered 4 heart hormones that open blood vessels and lowers blood pressure. Okay. Now, when does that happen? That your blood pressure go down and your blood vessels dilate. It's when we are happy. And that's the reason why that you don't see what we call heart cancer. Have you ever heard of heart cancer? No, there's no heart cancer. Brunei is never short of petrol. Why? They are a net exporter, one of the largest exporters. All right. The heart is the one that produces these hormones that is able to kill up to 90%, 97% of all cancers in cell cultures within 24 hours. So how to get cancer in the heart? See? And these hormones only come out when you're happy. See? We have many cases where people recovered very well, all right? But we have many more cases that people did not recover. Those who did not recover because they were lost, but they're not aware, right? Life is too good. They always complain, you don't know what is happening to me. You see, I'm talking to you half an hour. There are so many calls coming in, 1 from my child, 3 from the banks. You know, if you find life in Malaysia is too tough, I sent you to Pakistan for 1 day, and then you come and tell me that, oh, life in Malaysia is too good. If you find life in Pakistan is too tough, let's try Syria. Right? Life is too good. All right, those stars, Rainer Bosch, these are the people that they have recovered. What they did was very simple. They just all of a sudden change 180 degrees. How to get well then? Can we change our character? Many people told me this, that sorry, there's no way that I can change. I have been always this kind of a moody person for ages. Is that so? Remember this movie E.T.? Or perhaps you people are too young. I remember this movie very well because my friend came far away and asked me to join him for this movie. I saw the poster. I said, gosh, who would want to see this kind of creature? But anyway, well, friends, you have to join them. So you went inside the cinema. And what happened? At the end of it, you fell in love with this ugly creature. See? You don't like rats, but you will never complain about Mickey Mouse. The perception can change. It is whether you are willing to change. Okay? Whether you are going to be happy or not, a lot, remember this Sonja said, it's because of genetics. But do you understand or have you ever heard of epigenetics? That you can turn off and on how your genetic express itself. All right? If you look at the person who is always slouching like this, you know that this person is not happy. You don't have to have ESP. You know that this guy, oh, he has a lot of worries. No fun to stay with, to stick around with this kind of people. Right? But if you practice Qigong, if you have plenty of Qi, you're going to straighten up. See? So when you are physically sufficient, you're physically strong, you become a happier person also. See? Okay. That's a short introductory about Qigong.
Can we ask a few questions, teacher?
Sure, go ahead.
Well, I guess to start off, a Zhineng Qigong student starting out, what do you see as some of the most common mistakes? I see people who are practicing for many years and not progressing. Can you talk to that aspect?
There's one thing that, you know, I'm teaching at a university. I'm trying to get students to practice. The one thing is, number one, the common misconception is that, oh, Qigong is, you only see those people who are good in Qigong are maybe like you know, gray hair, you know, that means you must have practiced for ages. This is a misconception. This is absolutely wrong. Right? Like what I've mentioned before, 3 years. And then I'm talking about beginning before you fell in love into it, 1 hour a day. And subsequently 2 hours, particularly on the third year, 2 hours a day. And we expect you to become really good. Really good? Yeah, really good. In what way? In what way? You'll be able to become a therapist. And I told them, if you sign up with us, of course, you choose us, we are going to choose you. And you are able to go through what we have mentioned in all this. You can't find a job, come and see us. We'll hire you. So the one thing is quite true, that you don't require 8 to 10 years. All right? You don't require to practice 6 or 8 hours a day. All right? Now, the next one is also, there are many people who practice for ages, but they don't progress at all. Number one, they never really have that intention to progress. You get what I mean? Have you ever looked into the learning outcome? Let's say, now I'm teaching. We have learning outcome. When we train professionals, we tell them that these are the, what we call the learning outcome. Let's say you're working on a lumbar. I want your lumbar to be able to move within 1 year. I want your Mingmen aperture to open up. I want your Hui Yin to be able to go up. When and where? How? These are the learning outcome. All right? If you are talking about lift Qi up, what are the learning outcome? What are the minimal requirements? Are you able to control open close mentally? This is one. Are you able to feel the expansion and the contraction? This is 2. Are you able to feel where people are pointing at you without touching you? This is number 3. Are you able to develop your ESP? That is number 4. All these, they are laid down by Dr. Pang. The minimal target. Now, and then we'll talk about how to get there. You must be able to do it correctly. Most people do not progress because they don't look at it that way. You have to spend time into that to analyze how are you going to do your push-pull correctly. See, if you don't and you get into what we call day in and day out, you practice the same way, sorry, 10 years, 20 years, there's no way you can progress. No way. Look at sports. I have clients who are top golfer in USA. You know how they practice? They have a whole team of people following them. All right? At the end of a training, okay, what we call the physiotherapists are there working. Before a game, the coach will be there talking, analyzing. They study, they plan their practice. Do you plan your practice? It's not a sin for you not to practice Qigong. It's definitely not a sin if I just want to enjoy Qigong. There's nothing wrong with it. But we are talking about professional therapists, professional, what we call Qigong practitioners. That will be otherwise, right? So 2 fallacies. Number 1, they thought that, oh, you require a long time. Not true. Number 2, they thought that I practice 10 minutes, 5 minutes, half an hour a day, and that's good enough. Not true also. Okay?
So we have one question from an audience member.
Yeah, so basically, Teacher Ooi, you were basically focusing here now on, the way I understand, on really what you guys are doing then, that in your practice. Now, if there's someone who just want to do it for themselves, like I believe a lot of us, we do that. So why is it that we cannot do that just by doing, without having intention to heal someone? Can we just do it for ourselves and heal ourselves in that manner?
Why not?
I'm sorry?
Like what we have mentioned earlier, that we have external chi therapy and we have self-healing. So you are talking about self-healing, no problem. You see, go ahead, you can do that, no problem.
Something else I was going to ask you. And so when you are doing the healing on other people, what is it that you exactly do? Do you, let's say someone has a lumbar problem. There's a problem with, you know, they can't move.
I put it very simple. Customers to business, business to customers, they are not the same. 30 years ago, it's business to customers, all right? You go to the center, everyone practice this, that's it. You have illnesses A to Jack, you do this. You practice 5-6 hours a day, or even 6 to 8 hours a day to get well, all right? Why? Because let's say exercises like lift chi up, exercises like la chi, they are not specific, okay? What we do here is very simple. We diagnose first. In those days, the chi field is very powerful, it's very strong. I was telling my friend the other day, I said, that, you know, those days at the center, they can put anything, a cup or anything, you know, just hold it and stand. Oh, you stand. One old lady can put a spanner on the ground and then thing, bend, they can, oh, bend. It's different now. The world is different. You're not at the center. See? So what do we do here? We diagnose. And then if I were to go and tell this customer, go back, practice this 1 hour a day, I can tell you, you are not going to see him anymore because he's not going to do it 1 hour a day.
That's for sure.
Unless he is having a terminal illness. He's only have a lumbar problem. 1 hour a day, you're crazy. Right? So what we do now is customer to business. We give you short exercises. Go back and do it, that's it. And most importantly, to let you know you are going to get well by healing you, by giving you external chi.
So I would imagine with the babies, you would give the external chi, right? Because babies obviously cannot do themselves these exercises.
Yeah, but then adults also, you have to build up the confidence. Hey, I've been to chiropractor, I've been to doctors, I've been to Chinese physician, I've been to this and that. How sure are you that can get well? No problem. You have a pain there? Now I reduce the pain for you. But I tell you this, if you don't do what I ask you to do, you're going to get it back to the same thing 3 days later. And then you'll be a good boy.
Thank you.
One question.
Well, we have a question, teacher, about chi and information, the use of information. Let's say if someone has liver cancer, are we changing the information in the liver? So information and chi.
Okay, now it's actually a little bit tricky to understand this, all right? But chi is information. That's the way that we look at it. Okay? Chi is a form of information. Now, so let's say this one has a liver problem. What do you do? Are you changing the chi there? Or are you changing the information there? It's the same thing. I'm changing the chi there. I'm changing the information.
Yes. Any more questions?
Pode trabalhar onde
and chronic fatigue, what would you suggest to do to begin with? Fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue, it's almost the same thing, but it's not. What would you suggest to do?
Now, when you were talking about chronic fatigue, you reminded me of something else that it is very funny. In America, everybody is, when they come in and they tell you that I have chronic fatigue, half of them we found that there's something wrong with them, not chronic fatigue. 80% of those who came in and told me that I have Lyme disease, we found that actually you don't have to know what is inside your blood. But you can manage the condition without relying on that diagnosis. Now, what I'm trying to say is that I'm not saying that everyone is blaming this onto Lyme disease, everyone is blaming everything onto chronic fatigue. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that in many cases, it is not true. All right? So there's no general formula for, let's say, chronic fatigue, what do I do? There's also a general formula for this as a standard operational procedure. Do lift me up 5-6 hours. You get what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Shall we?
When you work with someone on Skype and you scan their body, what is your experience? Do you visualize the experience? Do you feel the experience? How do you see the?
Do you read Japanese?
I don't know.
You have to learn Japanese to know how to speak Japanese. You have to learn Japanese to feel how it is like to speak Japanese.
Well, I'm just wondering, is it a visual experience? Is it a physical experience that you have?
No, it is perception. It is something that's perception, all right? You just perceive whatever that is there.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you very much. Shall we close with a self-regulation, teacher, with your time, or?
Okay.
Great. I will wait. Shall we do a self-regulation?
Okay, do a short one, okay?
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay, sit upright relaxingly. Look out from the middle of your brain relaxingly. Pull in your vision and close your eyes gently. From the middle of the brain, think far away, far, far away. Think of the space on top of your head, all the way up through the roof into the blue sky. Think of the space beneath your feet, all the way down. The space in front of you, behind you, surrounding you. Take a deep breath. Breathe out. And relax yourself into Qi. Do it again and again. Relax your head. Your neck. Your shoulders and upper limbs. Focus inside. Your thorax. Abdomen. Your thighs, knees, legs, and feet. Relax the whole body. Feel as if you're sitting underneath a waterfall. Clear water flowing down through your crown, turning and swirling into your head, down your neck, your thorax, abdomen, your thighs, knees, legs, and feet. Qi is flowing. Flushing down and cleaning up. Body is getting easier and easier. Brighter and brighter. Relax. Relax. Now focus onto the area behind your navel. Put your hands on your navel. Relax. Relax. Okay, thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, teacher. Yeah, thank you for making time. We're greatly honored. Thank you so much. Over an hour of your time. Thank you. I think he logged out. Yeah, he's very prompt.
Thank you very much, Amir.
Yes, thank you, Michelle. Great seeing you.
Yeah, bye.
Hi.
It was a pleasure.
Yes, teacher Ooi was just so good.
Yeah.
And we have yes.
It is 4 o'clock a.m. in Turkey right now.
Oh, in Turkey, yes.